So welcome to the video, guys. I'm in the main shopping area. I've just finished security and I'm going to head up to the lounge. You can clearly see there are 3 lounges: Air New Zealand, Silverkris and Emirates. Emirates is actually below. I'm going to go up and go straight into Silverkris. I'll put the camera and I'll show you where the Air New Zealand lounge is as well. So I'm in the lift. That's a duty-free shop right there. I'll talk to you about the open area in a minute. It's a very short trip up to the mezzanine, and there are 2 lounges here. Straight through, and there's Silverkris Sydney International. Now, looking right here, I'm just going to pause it for a minute. And when I pause it, the majority of aircraft will be actually taking off from these gates. Now, gates 1 to 7 at the other end where security is. So you actually have to go past that area anyway. So what I'm trying to say is that there are 2 large sections for people who don't have lounge access to get food, drink and shopping. So let's continue with the video. So as you can see, quite an extensive area. I'm just going to walk on now into Silverkris, but I'm also going to show you, if you just go past Silverkris, that's where Air New Zealand lounge is. So this is Silverkris Sydney International. It's quite a small little lounge, but still sufficient space. If you're a frequent traveler, you've probably seen a lot smaller. Plenty of private areas too. Okay, so here's the food and wine section. There's a fair level of spirits here. A good standard. Not great, but certainly good. I did not complain at all. I'm happy to have this every day of the week. A good selection of entrees and starters. Some nice cold salads there. And a fair selection of warm food. There's some sandwiches there. And then, of course, there was some fish, prawns, chicken, and some noodles. So, certainly nothing to complain about. You've seen better and you've seen worse, but certainly I was more than satisfied with what I saw at Silverkris at Sydney International. I've actually slowed it down here so I can show you, because people, well, they weren't really too happy with people filming, so I did very quickly and they were okay with that. So I'm not too sure how much footage there is of this lounge, but I found it pretty rare to find, so I'm happy to share this with you. I'm just making myself a little salad here and a starter with some olives, some capsicum, some Thousand Island, a little bit of salad, and that was my starter. Had some chicken after that and a nice cold beer. For some of you app geeks, this is the new livery for the Dubai 2020 Expo on one of their 777s. I'm just about to board my aircraft now. Okay, just have a look at the size of this bulkhead seat. It is huge. In many airlines, this would almost be the same size as their first class suites. You can see even I had space for my suitcase or my small carry-on there. It is one of the bigger bulkhead business seats I have been on, and I've been in about 10 business class flights. I'm just going to take you through the plush leather upholstery, the cushions, and look at that room. I mean, the main thing about this particular bulkhead seat is that it's in a perfect rectangle. It's not angled off so you feel like your feet are sort of in a corner. That's what gives it that look of size. Here is the Ottoman. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually extend the Ottoman out and put my feet up in a minute. But this is probably the biggest business class seat I have been in. So there I am, just having a nice rest while the other passengers get on the plane. I'm going to take you through some of the amenities and I'm going to talk about that glare. If you look carefully at the screen, you'll see some glare there, and that actually ended up being a little bit of an issue, but overall, again, I just can't complain. You have to be fortunate to fly business class, and I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity. So just take a look at that storage. It's huge. You could probably put a small little bit of luggage in there. So as you know, Singapore Airlines don't give you an amenity kit. There's socks, the noise-cancelling headphones, the slippers, and the eye mask. There's actually another storage bin just to the right. So plenty of space for you. This is how the Ottoman works. You just click up, pull down, and you can put your feet there for a rest. There's some USB ports on the first compartment where the TV is. Mirror and additional storage space, and same on the other side. Again, you can see that bit of glare there of the purple cabin lights on the screen. That's the galley there. Very close, but of course it's such a big area and they were pretty quiet, but you could order a drink whenever you wanted to. It was great. So there are your controls for your bedding, your lights, and your sound and TV. That's your tray table. So as the plane takes off, you're actually going to get a view of Port Botany. Now, if I was lucky enough to be on the right-hand side of the aircraft, what you would see is a beautiful view of Sydney City. But that's okay, because you'll see some amazing coastline as we take off. And this is a beautiful autumn or fall morning. It was gorgeous. Now, just after you see a beautiful picture of the coastline, he's going to bank right, go through Central Australia, up through Indonesia, and make his way to Singapore. Have a look at that. That's a gorgeous picture of the coastline. You can see the shadow of the A380 right down in the water. Okay, so I started the drink service with a Johnny Walker Black. A good way for me. I really love my Scotch and my cognacs, but today was Scotch. Then there was some Perrier just to wash it down, and some warm nuts to accompany my Scotch and Perrier. Have a look at the size of that seat. It is huge. And I'm 106 kilos, 182 centimeters. So I'm quite a large fellow and still plenty of room. That was course one. I like to have all my meals with some white wine. If it's a seafood salad like it is there, it was a prawn and cucumber salad. I had some balsamic dressing, Perrier, and a Chardonnay. That was main course duck. I actually didn't mind the flavors of that, but the crew were very nice. They could see that I was struggling, and they gave me a chicken satay dish, which was much better. Dessert was pistachio ice cream with honeycomb, and you know me, I love my sweets. Now, that's the bed, and this is one of the biggest beds in business class. I'm going to show you an image of just how big it is. Now, as I said, I'm quite a large fellow. That's the bed when it's fully made. So it is a very substantially sized bed. Great selection of movies, HBO series and film on Singapore Airlines. That was the refresher meal coming into Changi Airport. It was dumplings, sweet chili sauce and fried rice. So I'm watching Nigella. I love my cooking programs, but you could choose anything you want. Again, there's that glare again. That was the only issue I had on this flight, is that glare could not be taken away, even if one of the lights were turned off. Again, first world problems, 100% glad to be flying business class under any condition. So there was your controls, and you made your choices with your control. As we're about to land, the lovely cabin crew knew that I liked my sweets, and they served me a plate of chocolates, some tea, and that was a lovely way to start our descent into Singapore. Maybe I'm getting a bit old, but this is some nostalgia. That's of course the famous Singapore ports, and we're just making our way into Changi International at about 8:30 at night. Again, Singapore looks beautiful at night, and that's why I go here a lot. Guys, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.